Hello everyone. So I am back with another film review and I've got my notes on my laptop here, so if I look away that is why. I've kind of moved where I normally film because I normally film in that room there but behind a curtain, but it's really sunny today and this camera, it doesn't like the lights changing. It goes in out of focus and it annoys me, and it'll probably annoy you viewers as well, so don't be doing that. So I'm going to be reviewing the second Halloween film. Now, I mean, the first Halloween review I put up has only got 1 view, so that's been popular. But yeah, I'm going to review this anyway. Right, so yeah, Halloween 1, I wasn't impressed, I'm not going to lie. It was quite a hyped up film. I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting a bigger plot, more scares. But at the end of the day, that was set in, what, 1976 or something, filmed then. Back in the day, probably would have been scary. I mean, we're talking 2022. And when you look at other like slashers, obviously they are more scarier now than they were then. But anyway, I'm going to try and not ramble on as much. I need to actually sort my phone out because I've got that many videos on here now and take them off because I've got no room on my phone. Right, so it's been about over a week now actually since I watched it and wrote this review, so yeah. Right, so my first comment was that song's on an advert. So yeah, the song that they play at the beginning of the film, it's on an advert. And I actually put I preferred the pumpkin intro, but if I actually hung on a bit, that actually does come in. So can I also just point out that in the last video I wasn't sure of how Laurie, her ankle, then I remembered that she got flung down the stairs by Michael Myers. So I did remember that. If I just pause, I'm just reading what I wrote. Yeah, so what I really liked about this film in comparison to the one, obviously you couldn't do this because it was the first film, but I think it made me feel like, okay, this is better than the first one already, was how they took us back to that first film and it continued from the first film. That was good that they did that. You don't see it often done in when another film comes out of the same one. And like a sequel, that's the word I'm looking for. I thought that was good how they did that. Because I think sometimes when that doesn't happen, stuff gets left out, but that didn't happen because they just continued it. Yeah, and it's also good to refresh your memory as well, because I mean, this film was like 2 years later when it came out. Obviously not for me, because I watched it like a week later after watching the first one. Yes, so Michael Myers has gone. He's vanished. He was shot and he's done a runner. Yeah, so after that scene, that continuation from film 1, we then get that classic Halloween music coming in, which is clever. And the pumpkin is back with the credits, which I wrote champion here. That's good. I hope they do that for the rest of the films. But I did realise that the pumpkin had a different face. Again, that's quite good. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Halloween fans out there, of the film that is, when it is actually Halloween and they do their pumpkins, if they did each pumpkin like the films, because I'm assuming each film will have a different face of a pumpkin on the like the intro bit, which would be good. And then when it zooms in, you get the skull inside the pumpkin, which is good. It's like an evolution of this pumpkin, and I know it's just the intro, it's not even the film part, but it's good. It's good. Yeah, the dog barking made me jump. Dogs' barks are always like, I think it's quite a scary thing to put in it, like something like this. Yeah, so he's watching. Michael Myers is still in town and he's just creeping around, watching, looking for his next victim. So when we get to this house, I just thought it was a caravan, but I don't think it was. I think it was just a house. And the pumpkin's in the window. Again, a nice link to the whole kind of franchise of the film. So in the where Michael Myers is going to enter this house, the TV's playing, and you've got a car which is similar to the cop car which we see in the actual film. Was that deliberate? I don't know. It's kind of like the guy was watching what was unfolding outside that house. I don't know if they meant to do that or not. If they did, very good. One thing I actually went back to look was when Michael Myers entered this house with this woman chopping up the vegetables, was I'm pretty sure that door was it was closed. In fact, I know it was, and actually I'm sure there was a baby gate over it. So how the hell did he open that and the door and she didn't hear that? I don't know. Anyway, back to the film. Again, they were linking that film on the TV, what was actually happening, which was very clever. Yeah, I like how Michael Myers just casually walked in, as you do. Almost something a bit comical about that. I think with all old, like, or actually any thriller horror films, there is always a bit of a comical aspect to it, I find. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, the bit where he Mel just jumped up right in front of the screen. I actually jumped at that bit. I mean, we're just getting into the beginning of this film, and I already have had more jump scares than the first film all round. Yeah, the part where we see a needle going in a vein, I did need to see that once, never mind twice. Didn't really want to see that. Yeah, I didn't expect that, and I think I don't know what I'm talking about there, but yeah, I've wrote here that the film is already better than the first, which I thought would be the case. Yeah, so when the car, oh, that's what I'm on about. That scene where the car comes, the police car hits Michael Myers, but it's not him, and it all goes boom. I knew it wasn't him. It would have been too brazen for him to just walk around. It's like, hello, I'm here. Nah. And obviously he's after Laurie as well, after all. I didn't expect that car to just come flying in though, and then the explosion, and then the flames going up as well. It was kind of like three things very quickly happening, and then the police come in. I liked that bit. I feel like the first film was a bit slow, whereas this scene here in particular was quite quick, which was good. I think when that happened, it's a good opportunity to then have something else going on over here, and then that's a good opportunity for like jump scares and stuff. I wish they did that more in this film, but they didn't really. So, moving on. Yeah, I think at this point we can almost see different sides to the plot being set up, and I thought that was rather exciting. I was quite excited to see how they unfolded, but actually in the end we just ended up with this one plot, which was a bit of a disappointment, really. Yeah, the jump scares are better, and there's more use of music in this film than the first one, which does add to the scariness. Music always does. The reflection of Michael Myers in the car mirror is nicely done. I can see a theme developing with the reflections for sure. It would have been good if he what's this bit here I brought? I have no idea what I'm on about there. There must have been a scene. Ah, yes. Right, so the hospital scene when the paramedic bloke is being a bit funny with the nurse, and I wrote here, it would have been good if she had just, when she stands up, if she'd just gotten that coat and just poured it over his head. That would have been good to see, actually. Of course he's cut the phones, I've wrote here. Classic thing in these films. I guess they set the scene though with this film, really though, because this was one of the first kind of big thriller horror films. So I guess they actually did set the scene for this though, these sort of things to happen. How did the cat get in the bin? Is my next line here. Unless it jumped in when it was open and it just fell down. That's a possibility. This security guy, right? I know I'm jumping from thing here, but I'm not going to I don't want to explain the whole film because that's not what a review's about. If you watch the film, you should know what I'm talking about here. So the security guy comes out to investigate why the phones have been cut. And why is he walking so slow? He doesn't really... I feel like if he was walking fast and he had a bit of music going, that would have added to the suspense and scariness of the film. He's obviously scared though. And I actually wrote this here. In sort of films like this, you do actually often get like security guards kind of being the victim. And you either get like a scared guy like this one, or you get a confident guy. For example, if it had been a confident guy, he would have walked over really quickly. He would have ignored the initial sounds. He probably would have been like, oh man, what's this? It's just a whole hospital, it's happened again. You know, something else has gone wrong. He'd be looking for the issue. Probably would have had a go at trying to tackle Michael Myers, and then it ended up getting killed anyway. But we got the scared guy. So, yeah, I'd have one or the other in these films. It would have been good if he'd, when we got the doors... oh yeah, no, okay. So what I wrote here was, again, one of these things where I wrote it and I should have waited. When he's opening the doors to try and find the person that's in there, I thought it would have been good if, because I was expecting him to open the door and he would have been in one of those rooms, Michael Myers. I thought it would have been good if when he opened the door and shut it, he would have been stood there. And that's what actually ended up happening, which was really good. I was really glad they did that. That was a nice jump scare. Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, more suspense in that scene than in the previous film scenes. Yeah, because you expected him to be in the room and not behind the door. I mean, I thought that, but like that's me. But I think most people will expect him to have been in the room and not behind the door. So you definitely get that jump scare. Yeah, so he kills the security guard with an axe, I think, not a knife. So I was like, oh, he's changing up a bit here. Yeah, I think somebody else goes looking, and I've just wrote here, well, he's not going to be in there, is he? I don't know what I'm talking about there, in all honesty. So, now at the scene where that bath scene, the temperature increasing was predictable. I did think they were going to get boiled. How was I even allowed to go up that high, though? It was good how Michael Myers just emerged from the darkness to kill the other nurse. That was cleverly done. Kind of just appeared into the light. Yeah, he's taken them out one by one. One thing I noticed in the hospital, why was it so dark? Like, he didn't take the power out, I don't think. It was the phones he took out. So why was it so dark? Yeah, the pillow stabbing reminded me of that Lord of the Rings scene. I wonder if Peter Jackson actually got that idea from this film. Possibly. Yeah, I think a hospital is a good setting for scary films as well. I just want to point that out. I mean, Stranger Things. I've done that recently. Well, modern times, I'll say. It was a few years ago now. And the TV monitors too, that kind of blurry pixelated view adds a bit of suspense, and again that happened in Stranger Things as well, so maybe the Duffer Brothers got some ideas from this film as well. I don't know. Yeah, Laurie hasn't learnt much, has she? No weapon again. I mean, just grab something. I think in a lot of cases, I think in Stranger Things actually, was it Nancy? She IV Paul, did she grab hold of that? Yeah, just grab something. Yeah, so Laurie is now basically running around the hospital away from Michael Myers. So she shuts the door, if that's what you want to call it. If you're going to shut it, shut it. I understand she was trying to like keep an eye out, but he's coming for you. So shut the door. Yeah, it was good how we see him going in a room on the screen. Then the nurse going down that same corridor. Again, similar thing was done in Stranger Things with Bob and the Demodogs. Yeah, how did they not hear his breathing or see the shadow in that scene where he's stood near the nurse? Yeah, so when the nurse is dead and she's dripping blood everywhere, I did not expect him to slip on the floor. Yikes, that was nasty. Yeah, finally someone's doing the right thing and actually getting out of there. And of course the car doesn't start. So yeah, Michael Myers has been tampering. He's been doing a bit of work on the cars. Yeah, don't go back in there, I wrote there. Like, be smart. Just don't go back in there. Yeah. So when we've got that scene of Laurie running with her leg injured, I got Jurassic Park vibes, I'm not gonna lie, where I can't remember her name, but the one with the blonde hair, I think it's Jurassic Park 2. I think. Yes. 2 or 1? There is 1. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while. Actually, I'm a Jurassic Park fan, so I should know this, but I haven't watched it in ages. Anyway, when she's running, because she's got some caught in the leg and she's running from the velociraptors. Reminded me of that scene, actually. Again, maybe Spielberg was inspired by Halloween. Mike's not even bothered taking his time. I brought here. In the lift scene, will the door shut or not? Again, he makes no attempt to run Michael Myers. He's not really bothered, is he? He's like, I'm going to get you anyway. So I'm just going to... Well, that's what he thinks anyway. And he sticks his knife in the door. I'm surprised that didn't make it stop or open back up. I feel like lifts would do that. Yeah, leg it. I wrote here. Is that car window open? Yeah, the car she gets in. I was like, isn't that window open? That could have been an opportunity, couldn't it? So yeah, the car horn bit was quite nicely done. He must have had to really headbutt that to get that horn to go off though. It would have been good if Michael Myers had just came out of the door then though. That would have been good. Yeah, so Laurie's trying to get the car to start. It's not going to start. Yeah, she starts yelling when the doc turns up. Why didn't she start yelling a few seconds prior and it would have got their attention? Alright, so I wrote here, when she stood up, he should have stood up in the background, repeating that thing that they often do in these films. Yeah, if anything, she should have just rolled under the car because he couldn't have got to her. He actually couldn't have. That's what I would probably do. I just legged it out of the area. Oh, I'll be back in a moment. Hiya. Crikey, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to like skin it. Right. Where was I at? Right, so we've got single glazed glass doors now. We had the windows before, now we've got the single glazed doors when Mike is trying to get through then. He just walks through like some superhero or something. Yeah, what's this bloke doing? Getting right up to him. Get away from him, man. Yeah, what he said, what the doc said. So here we go again. Cat and mouse. Maybe Jimmy will save the day. No. Yeah, I feel like I would have felt better if I was Laurie that Doc was with me. Even though it's Doc. And he's took all this time to find her, but better to have someone with you than no one. Yeah, I wouldn't be sticking my head out of any windows while he's walking the wards, like, nah. And there we have it. Cat and mouse, again, scene. Don't put the gun down, yeah, don't do that. Just the same mistakes are being made, which is often seen in these horror-y films. Predictable. So yeah, so she shoots him, and he's blind because she shoots him in the eyes, Michael Myers. So for how long? Because he's like got this healing ability, hasn't he? So I didn't know if he was gonna, but he didn't get his sight back anyway. So yeah, we get an explosion, and the doc basically kills himself to kill Michael Myers. But Michael Myers is not dead. Also, I've seen Doc advertising on the other film, so I don't know if there was a flashback, if he comes back, if he survived, I don't know. Right, so there was a bit here earlier on in the film where they were talking, I think it was Doc was talking about kind of rituals and burnings or something. And the fact that then Michael Myers comes out of that fire burning, I don't know if that was deliberately done to link back to what Doc was saying before, I don't know. And then we're back to that song again that was on the advert. So overall, I think this film was better than the first. I'm quite looking forward to seeing the third film to see if it improves further. There's a bit more of a plot. I did think that at this beginning there was more like kind of plots being set up and we'd end up at the hospital that way, but instead we just went straight to the hospital and that's where the majority of the film was at. So I would have preferred if they kind of had more leads going on and then come back. Like what Stranger Things does, you know, you have different groups of them and then they end up all together. Something like that. Yeah, like there were more side stories developing, but they just kind of dropped them almost. Yeah, it would be interesting to see something on a bigger time frame and not just a night. But I guess it's Halloween. Yeah, not most of the characters being killed off as well. Like if we actually got to know more of the characters throughout the films, I think that would have been better. But yeah, most of them being killed off. I mean, it's only like Laurie and Doc that we have seen in both films now, and I think even Doc's dead now. So yeah, we'll see what the third film brings. Yeah. So that's the review of Halloween. I mean, in the last one I said I'd give it 5 out of 10 for the first one. I'll give this a 6, maybe pushing 7, 6.5 out of 10. Yeah. So it has improved. So I will watch the third one. So thank you for watching, everyone. Probably the next review will be Halloween 3. So take care, everyone.